Hi, my name is Dan with Flawless Pools and Spas. We're located in Texas and serve the greater DFW area. Today we're going to be talking about how to backwash your filter. Now there's two main devices that you use to backwash a filter. One is a push-pull valve. The second is a multi-port valve. We'll show you both of those here in a little bit. There's three main filter types. The first type is a DE filter. The DE stands for diatomaceous earth. That is mainly what you're going to be seeing when you need to backwash a filter. The second type is a cartridge filter, which doesn't need to be backwashed. When they need to be cleaned, they are taken apart, disassembled, cleaned, then reassembled. No backwashing is required with those. And then the third type is a sand filter, which we'll briefly go over those two. But the most common is going to be your DE filter, and that's what we're going to give you a demonstration on in today's video. Okay, so what we have here is a newer style Pentair push-pull valve. If you take a look real close, here's your T-handle. And right down here is the little groove that the push pin locks in. This is down in its locked position. Rotate the handle, you see that pin swing out, and then you have this cutout, right here, and that allows for the pin to slide up. Might take a little force. Allows for the pin to slide up, and then you can lock it in the upward position. This would be the backwash position. Down, locked in, would be your filter position. So I'm going to do a real quick run through of backwashing your filter. This push-pull valve is connected to a 36 square foot DE filter, the Pentair FNS Plus. Okay, so right now, system on, that's your normal operating cycle. I'm going to relieve the air pressure real quick just so I can get a good backwash. Okay, so step one, make sure the equipment is turned off. Come over here, pull up on your backwash handle, turn the system back on. You'll see the water will come out clear at first, and then you'll notice it'll start to come out dirtier and dirtier, and then after a few seconds it'll clear back up. This filter isn't very dirty. So once that water clears back up, or you ran it for about 20-30 seconds, you're going to turn the pump off, come over here, push the backwash handle back down, lock it, turn the equipment back on. Now you will notice, if you take a look at your pressure gauge, you will notice that the filter pressure went down, and that's a good sign. You can see on this filter, it has a start and clean filter indicator. Most starting pressure on these filters is around 12 psi. So once it gets up to 22 psi is when you would want to backwash it. The start and clean filter difference is a 10 psi difference. So basically anytime you get 10 pounds over your starting pressure is when you know that you need to backwash or clean your filter. Now if you backwash your filter and your pressure goes down, and then later on that day, or within the next couple of days, the filter pressure is back up again, that means you need to take your filter apart, completely disassemble it, clean it, and reassemble it. So now that you basically backwashed it once, you want to repeat that process 3 times. I'm not going to repeat it today since this filter is already clean, but the last and final step is you get your system in your normal filtering mode, you turn your equipment on, and then you add your DE powder or your diatomaceous earth to your skimmer. And I like to put it in a bucket, mix it up with some water, and pour it down the skimmer, and it will go into the filter and coat the grids. Okay, now if you don't know what type of filter you have or what size it is, you should have a label on the bottom half of the filter, like this one. It says that it's the Pentair FNS Plus DE filter. And then over here, there's a little label, and you see the FNS Plus 36. Has a hole punched in the bottom. And it tells you the filter area is 36 square feet. Tells you your flow rate, your maximum working pressure, your clearance, your size, your vertical, and the amount of DE in pounds. So anytime you backwash this filter, you see the very bottom right there under the FNS Plus 36, you need to add 3.6 pounds of DE back into the filter. Now, I wouldn't worry about trying to do 3.6 pounds. I would just do 3.5 or 4 pounds of DE. If you don't know what a pound of DE is, you can get one of those small coffee cans that are maybe 7 inches tall and about have a 3 or 4 inch diameter of the circle. One of those coffee cans filled up and leveled off is 1 pound of DE. So that's a good estimate on how much DE you need to put back into the filter. Or you can go to your local pool supply store and buy a DE scoop, which will be exactly 1 pound when leveled up. After you put the DE back into your pool skimmer and it's gone and coated the grids and everything, that's it, you're done. All you need to let it do is run to filter the water and enjoy. Thank you. Okay, so now I got my DE in this bucket here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this with one hand here, so bear with me a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit of water in here. Okay. I like to use a stick. You can use your hand. It's cold outside right now, so I don't want to touch the water. And I'm just going to mix it up. Make sure there's no clumps on the bottom. Alright. And then with the equipment on, after you backwashed your filter, you're just going to pour this DE right down the skimmer. Your pump will suck it up. And as it goes through the filter, it's going to coat the grids inside the filter. And the DE is what will actually be filtering your water. Now, after you backwash your filter, a good habit to get into is to coming back to your pool and check your pool returns for what's called blowback. And if you look here, this pool return, you can see a fine powder or almost a fog coming out of the pool return. And what that is that's the DE bypassing the manifold and the grids due to a crack or a hole somewhere in the system, and it's slipping through that crack or hole, going through the pool equipment returns and the plumbing and back out into the pool. So it's just a good habit to get into after backwashing your filter, to come to the swimming pool and check the pool returns. If you do have a case like this, something that you're probably going to need to do is take the filter apart, completely disassemble it, clean the filter, and inspect the manifold, all the grids, and the push-pull valve itself for any damage, whether it be a crack, a hole, or even a very small hole in the corner of the grids can cause blowback to a certain degree, or a fine hair crack in the manifold. And what typically happens is it may not look very big when you're looking at it, and when it's in your hand and you're looking at it, but when it gets in the system and under that pressure, you know, between 10 and 20 pounds per square inch, it really opens up that crack or that hole, making it 3, 4, 5 times larger than what it really is. And that's a lot more area for the debris or the DE to slip through and get back into the system. And this will cause issues such as a dirty pool, cloudy pool, unclear water, foggy or milkiness to the pool. Now, I wanted to show this to you just for those of you out there that maybe don't know what kind of filter you have or if it needs to be backwashed. This is a Pentair cartridge filter, and you can tell it's a cartridge filter right off the bat where the bulkheads are located, which is where these two pipes right here go in and out. There's no push-pull valve or multi-port valve there, so that tells you right off the bat that it's a cartridge filter. And the only way these are going to be cleaned is by being completely disassembled, cleaned, and then reassembled.